Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we're pleased to have in the studio today our friends from Nonprofit Solutions. And is it Accessity? Is that how you pronounce it?
Accessity.
Very, very good. And that was Elizabeth Schott saying, hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And from Nonprofit Solutions, we have Christiana Tasto, Executive Director. Christiana, good seeing you again.
Glad to be here.
Absolutely. We'll start with you, Christiana. What is Nonprofit Solutions and your mission?
Nonprofit Solutions is the hub for nonprofits throughout the county and beyond now. We are here to help in all ways that we can support if nonprofits need assistance with, hiring someone, or they need to know, do you have this resource, or, can you train my staff on this? We try to do all of that. If we're not the one that can do it, we will definitely refer and try to get to the right people that can. Our mission has been redone this year, so it's to cultivate nonprofit organizations through connection and innovation, and then investment in the whole person.
How long have you been in business?
Since 1991.
So, 22 years, 32 years. Am I doing the right? 32 years.
Yeah.
My goodness. You've been in there from the beginning?
No.
Because that would put you at 7, or not even born yet and all that. So how'd you get involved with it? I mean, how'd you find out about it?
Oh, interestingly enough, I was a participant. I was seeking out some more training.
Yeah.
I just kind of was burnt out at the job that I was at and wanted to kind of try something new, and connected with the staff that work at Nonprofit Solutions. And then later I said, training is what I love to do at every job that I do. I really want to work in training completely now. And so they created a position for me.
Nice.
And I started as a training specialist, then became director of learning. And then a little over 2 years ago, became the executive director.
Yeah, congratulations to that.
Thank you.
And Elizabeth, when did you start your organization?
So the organization actually started almost 30 years ago in 1994.
Right.
And I've been with the organization for over 15 years.
Right, what's the mission?
Yeah, so our mission as a nonprofit organization is to support small businesses, primarily those diverse entrepreneurs or those in low to moderate income that ultimately do not qualify for a traditional bank loan or don't have access to other resources such as education, training, and connections that can help them start or grow their business. So we run a loan program anywhere from $300 all the way up to $100,000. And that's really to provide access to capital to these entrepreneurs so that they can grow and contribute to our local economies.
I just got an organization that I'm going to put in touch with you. My colleague, Aaron Tanner, knows this group. Aaron is the producer of my Spotlight shows. They have just started their nonprofit called 365 Connect. And so they're having some challenges, I think, getting loans and all this business. I'll put them in touch with you, and you can let them know if they can get a loan or not. How's that sound?
Yeah, absolutely. So our mission is focused on for-profit small businesses.
Oh, for-profit. Okay,
so
gotcha. Okay.
But we have resources. There are actually some other great organizations that can lend to nonprofits as well. But we help primarily both startup and existing businesses that are expanding that are for-profit.
Yeah, they also have a for-profit too. So,
cool.
So maybe that'll be a connection on this. So talk to me how you became involved with Nonprofit Solutions, and did you contact them or they contact you? How's that work?
Yeah. So, leading an organization in the nonprofit community, you're always seeking to grow and develop develop your staff, right? And so to me, the more that you can invest in your staff team, the better you are at producing and executing impact in your mission, right? So for us, I'm always seeking resources from training and education. And so we've been members of Nonprofit Solutions for many years. And really, it's an opportunity for our professional development for our staff team to either attend certification in leadership training. We've also had the team produce all staff trainings on diversity, equity, and inclusion or effective communication. And so for me, it's a way to tailor individual needs of professional development and growth for my staff, but also to look at how can we level set everybody with the same type of all staff training that ultimately benefits our mission being improved because of our staff.
Yeah, when you talk about that, Elizabeth, and I know you'll agree, Christiana, everyone talks about leadership, everyone talks about training, not everyone does it right or does it well in that aspect, but we know that's how organizations grow, whether it's small nonprofits that you work with or small for-profits in that aspect of it. Maybe you can answer this, Christiana. Again, we're chatting with Christiana Tasto. She's the Executive Director of Nonprofit Solutions, joined by her colleague, Elizabeth Schott, CEO of Accessity. I'm Drew Schlosberg, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Talk about how leadership and training has changed since you've been involved in this field, or has it changed?
Significantly. It's actually become the human focus is where we're really trying to develop leaders, emotionally intelligent leaders that can be resilient, but also be able to provide a safe space where people feel that they belong. Really working at a culture of an organization that develops people, but also helps them to be who they truly are, so that they can come in and be themselves in the workplace. When I started out as a manager way back in the day, it was that authoritarian, you have the power, you have the control, everyone should do what you say because you said to do it. And it has evolved significantly since then, thank goodness. And so we're really looking at an environment where workers are really choosing where they want to work and working for leaders that they want to work for. And that's what they're asking, and that's what they want to be developed in. And they want to know that they can be their true selves at work and not have to code check and put on a mask to be at work.
You bring up an interesting point, and maybe this has been exasperated by the pandemic. The workers are, as they should always have been, I guess, not always easy to do this, choosing where they want to work, how they want to work, what they want to get paid, when they want to do this, which is in some ways an eyes opener to owners of companies that have been doing this thing for 30 years and say, wait, I'm just understaffed. Why? Is it me? Do I need to understand this? Is that part of it, that this is just a new culture? Not that it's a bad culture, it's just a new culture of what is demanded of the owners of these companies.
Well, actually, Elizabeth and I were just chatting about that before coming in here, is how it has changed due to the pandemic. There's been some good things that actually came out if we can hold on to those pieces, that we shouldn't necessarily go back to everything the way it was.
Exactly.
It was very much productivity, meeting the business goals only, and not realizing that the humans are involved in meeting those business goals. And that's where our mission has changed to investment in the whole person. And that's what Elizabeth is really versed at and very great at with her team, is really looking at them as whole people that have different needs and different desires, and realizing, we were just talking about like how important time is and how we spend our time and putting that value with it. I mean, at the beginning of the pandemic, we had more time than we could imagine, but it did help us realize what was important.
Well, you're spot on that, and it's something that we like to chat about quite a bit on our Spotlight show, especially when it comes to education. We've known this since people were walking upright, that if they're motivated to do something, they like to do something, hey, they'll succeed. What a shock in this. And getting back to what, Christiana was saying, Elizabeth, yes, if we do take the human person in the whole in mind, they will thrive more. They will produce more. I mean, it is a business. You do have to have some production on it. But just paying attention to something we probably have known for a long time, better late than never, I guess.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, and it's one of the things that we think a lot about is really when you're attracting talent into your organization, really putting at the forefront, what is your work environment? What are your values as an organization? And really thinking about how do you represent that in your recruiting process? And that's something else that we've utilized the Nonprofit Solutions team for, is just the recruiting of employees. And, as you know, in the marketplace, it's competitive, and you really have to show beyond, what you're paying someone and the benefits that you're offering. What is the actual culture, and how do you actually demonstrate that through your practices? And so I think that's a really important part of the recruiting process now as an organization.
Yeah, and I bet you know this so well, as does Christiana. The worst thing you can do as a company, large or small, for-profit or nonprofit, is have this great mission statement: we value our employees. Then you go treat them like garbage. Okay, really? That's good. I don't think you guys are doing what you're supposed to be doing and all this. I'm being a little bit, forthright on this. But my point is that I see too many mistakes in that aspect of it, where, boy, if there is a true CEO, whether a small company or a big company, and yeah, you do, and these are the things that our values are. I know we experienced this when I was at the Union Tribune, and we had a CEO that came in and really changed the culture for the positive, because he said, this is important to us. And of course, it was the common sense: talk to people, hold meetings, heaven forbid, do stuff that we all learned in kindergarten, right, in this. But when we come back from break, I want to talk a little bit more about that. Want to get your take on something that we all know, Elizabeth, that small businesses run cities. I don't care how big or small the city is. Small business is the lifeblood of so many things. Not to ignore our big businesses, but we know, I'm not sure how many, the 80,000 businesses in San Diego City or something to that effect. And I want to talk about your Mobile Hybrid Training Institute, Christiana, what that's all about, and people can get engaged in that. So if that sounds good to you, we're going to chat about that when we come back from break. How's that sound? Good?
Great.
Thank you.
We're right back with our friends from Accessity. That is Elizabeth Schott, the CEO and the Executive Director of Nonprofit Solutions. Christiana Tasto. I am the I guess I call myself I don't call myself this. My producer calls me this. This is the longest running community podcast in the nation. We've been doing it for 17 years. That Spotlight on the Community. Real proud of that. Honored to have folks like you on. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. They've been our sponsors since July in these beautiful Mission Fed studio here in Scripps Ranch. And Mission Fed, as anybody knows, has been doing just great things in the community for many, many years, more than 60 years. And we're going to be right back after this message.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg. We're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Been doing wonderful things for San Diegans for more than 60 years with our friends from Accessity. That is Elizabeth Schott, the CEO, joined by her colleague Christiana Tasto, Executive Director of Nonprofit Solutions. Right before break, Christiana, we were talking about the Mobile Hybrid Training Institute. What's that all about?
It's our greatest invention. No, not really. But it could be. It's really innovative. I have some amazing staff that really were tired of, why are we just doing things in Zoom and why are we just doing things in person? And people really want to have this together because there's some people at home and some people in person. And we tried it and we weren't very good at it. Let's just be honest. It was, we have Zoomland people and we have people in person and they weren't having an interactive experience. So what we have done is with our Innovation Tech Committee, came up with, did all the research on the microphones, the cameras, everything that you need to do to actually create an interactive hybrid experience. And then we have now changed our curriculum to do that as well, because that's why we were resistant, because in-person and Zoomland are totally different curriculum, right. But together they are now becoming one. And what we're doing with that is not only just is it available, but we're really finding the need for it with organizations that work. They have people that work in warehouses, or they have people that work doing outreach under bridges, looking for people that are unsheltered. And if they are the frontline people, right. They aren't always able to be in trainings. They're not even necessarily thought of to go to trainings. And so we are trying to bridge that gap to be where people can just pop on and they can be part of it and they can interact with everyone. And we can get people from all over, if they're at home, if they're at work, if they live in different cities now, if they work in different counties, that they can all come together and have this interactive experience. And that's the original idea behind it, but then it's grown beyond that. And our big why is that it is actually giving people opportunity to get education that they wouldn't normally have. And it's helping to bring them up so that they can be stronger in the workforce, so that they are not pigeonholed into just they are frontline employees. It's giving them the chance to be able to learn from people that are doing other things so that they can get promoted, so that they can get these other jobs. And ultimately, it helps to retain employees, which is what every employer is having challenges with, and it's so expensive to rehire people. So this is our answer to kind of build that equity in the workforce, and also just develop people within, so that organization leaders aren't always hiring new people and doing new training.
Right. So if someone wants to get involved in that, Christiana, how do they get a hold of you? Do they go to the website? How do they do that?
They can go to the website, but it's business@npsolutions.org is our coordinator on that end. We'll make sure that we get set up with doing that. We are looking for we're kind of trying to do it as a different model too, is where we can have a funder that funds it, and then the participants can be part of it without the organization having to pay. So we're working on kind of having a benefactor and a funder relationship as well, but it is definitely part of our regular services.
No, that's terrific. And right before the break, Elizabeth, we were also talking about how small business is so critical to the overall economy of any city, any town, small or big on that. Talk about how important that is.
Yeah, so small businesses really make up the lifeblood of a local economy and community. They create and maintain jobs. They pay tax revenue. They ultimately provide local shopping options and for goods and services here in our local community. And there's this butterfly effect. We have all different types of small businesses, whether that's a restaurant, a retail shop, a barber shop, a mobile business, or transportation and trucking. And there's these butterfly effects also that happen that are intangible that small businesses provide. So for example, if you walk into a local barbershop, yes, they offer services of shaving and a haircut, right? But there's community conversations happening about politics or sports games going on, or local, barbecues in the back of the barbershop. And so there's all these ripple effects. And so what we're about is really supporting those local small businesses and entrepreneurs to be able to start and access access the tools that they need to be successful long term.
Yeah, and talk about the challenge of small businesses, and that's what you do. You help them with loans from $300,000 to $100,000, and if there's a place where they've been turned down for whatever reason that is, they come to you. Do you look at their history of here's maybe why you were turned down, and here's how we can help?
Yeah, so as a nonprofit, we're also what's called the CDFI, a Community Development Financial Institution.
Yeah.
And our mission is actually to be more flexible than a traditional bank. So many banks and corporate and foundation partners actually fund our organization, but our lending criteria is generally more flexible, where we're able to actually work with businesses that don't have an operating history. Maybe there's someone who has no credit history in this country. And so our criteria for the lending is more flexible than a traditional bank is going to be. And ultimately, they hear about us from maybe going to the bank and getting a no, right?
Right.
Or community outreach. They are part of an association or a chamber, and so they hear about our organization, and then we're able to provide that access to capital.
No, that's great. How'd they get a hold of you?
So accessity.org is our website, and we not only have a way to contact us directly, you can apply directly online if you're comfortable doing that, or we can walk you through on phone or video.
Okay.
The other thing that I would encourage people to check out is on our website, there's a marketplace, and there's an amazing list of a bunch of different small businesses across Southern California that we've funded. So if you're looking for a pet groomer, if you're looking for a local restaurant and you want to shop local, there's so many different options on our marketplace on the website.
No, that's great. We are chatting with Elizabeth Schott, CEO of Accessity, joined by her colleague Christiana Tasto of Nonprofit Solutions. Now, there's a big day coming up, Christiana, in August, right? What is that?
It is National Nonprofit Day.
It is. What does that mean?
It is a day to appreciate, recognize all the work that nonprofits do throughout the communities that they serve. We are actually utilizing that day as a day to really appreciate all of the nonprofits that we work with and all of our member organizations. So we will be spotlighting them with different awards and events. And it's also going to be our fundraising drive during August. So we're very excited to launch that as our first time to kind of really build our scholarships so that we can get this accessible training out to people that maybe even their organizations can't afford to send them. So that's what we raise our funds for.
Is it going to be at a certain venue?
I believe we're still talking about potentially having one here at Mission Fed. So,
okay, you know what? You heard it here first. This is breaking news. We don't want to have any spoiler alerts on it. Maybe we'll ask our good friend Catalina off air if what that can be. And certainly if that is the case, we'll absolutely have you folks back on to talk about it as it gets closer on this. So one more time, Christiana, maybe shout out the website of Nonprofit Solutions.
npsolutions.org.
And you, Elizabeth, for Accessity?
Yeah, it's accessity.org, and that's accessity.org. And we also have a lot of different trainings and events that come up for small businesses listed on our website as well.
That's great. Well, it's been an honor chatting with you, just doing great things in this community. Nothing better than training and leadership for our nonprofits, for our small businesses that certainly intersect, to say the least, on this. And promise me you'll make a return appearance on our Spotlight show.
Absolutely.
Okay, we got it on record, so now we know you'll do that. No, it's our honor. Thank you so much, and you've been listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show on Cloudcast Media, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. Continues to do spectacular things for San Diegans for more than 60 years. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.